This morning in Higher Learning, last week Congress finally passed a major financial services reform bill. The legislation was designed to curb the abuses which led to the collapse of the housing market and the bailouts of some big financial services firms. The bill also contains student loan reforms and consumer protections related to credit card charges. Here to talk about those changes and what they mean to students is Peter Cohen from the Rhode Island Higher Education Assistance Authority. Thank you so much for joining us, Peter.
Anytime. Happy to do it.
First question, let's jump right into it. In the reform package, how is this going to help college students?
Well, I mean, look, it's been a long time in coming because, I mean, there have been a lot of back and forth with this bill. But, I mean, one of the big things, the folks at the Project on Student Debt kind of analyzed the bill after its passage and basically said, you know, it's going to do a lot to help curb the wild west of student lending. I mean, if you remember last spring, they passed a major overhaul as part of the health care bill, which addressed the federal financial aid, federal student aid part of the equation. But what was left untouched was private loans. Now, with federal loans, we're always advising people, you know, max out on your federal loans because they have a lot of good consumer protections, a lot of generous repayment benefits. Private loans don't have that. So what this bill does is address some of those issues, because I mean what happens is they have interest rates that can be variable and go up based on what you initially signed on for. It may double, and there's no cap on those interest rates. So what they want to do is put some protections in place, protect students from some of the worst lending practices by those private lenders. And one of the things they've done is create a Consumer Protection Finance Board as part of the Federal Reserve. And they're going to look at regulations and make sure that, you know, some of those abusive practices are curbed. They've also created an ombudsman position. Now in Rhode Island, RIHEA serves as the ombudsman for people with issues with their federal loans. Now this extends those protections to the private loans as well, so it really covers all the bases. And again, you know, even though we're advising people to max out on their federal loans, there are those cases where if you're going to a more expensive school, you're going to need that extra money because that maximum federal package won't get you to where you need to be. So you do have to go out sometimes and get a private loan.
Now, they seem like they covered a lot of their bases, but was there anything left out that some of the advocates have kind of been pushing for? Or?
Yeah, unfortunately, there was a provision that was dropped out of the Senate bill which would have required private lenders to go to schools and certify with them that potential borrowers are eligible for a loan. And what that would have done was given financial aid officers the chance to kind of advise the student and counsel them and say, did you max out on your federal loans yet? Do you really need this potentially risky loan?
Kids go into it blind and just, you know...
Exactly, and we've talked about the FAFSA before. I mean, you know, people don't like going through that FAFSA process, which you need to do in order to qualify for the federal loans. And sometimes those private loans have an interest rate that's really attractive. But what you don't realize is you're being lured in with that interest rate, which can change at any time. So the problem is, you know, people really need to do their due diligence, look into the federal loans, and now they can be protected if they do need a private loan.
Always a pleasure. Good information. Thanks so much, Peter. If you'd like more information on the financial services bill, just head over to foxprovidence.com.
Thanks.